This weekend, I learned 4 life lessons from the dirt in my garden. They saved me time, energy, and reminded me what slow living really means. So, the first one is timing is everything. I had been working on getting ready to do this project all weekend, but by mid Sunday afternoon, I still hadn't started. Now, in the past, this would have really stressed me out. Last year, I honestly can remember starting about the same time that I did this year, and it took me all afternoon to dig a trench for the bulbs, and I was still planting them well after the sun was going down. I was rushing, I was exhausted, and probably quite a bit frustrated that I hadn't gotten an earlier start. This year, I was thoughtful about when I was going to undertake this project. Most years, I'd find myself digging in that really dry, hard-packed earth for hours. And so this year I decided it would be good to wait until after a good soaking rain had kind of like softened the soil so it wasn't like wet and muddy, but just moist. And I was shocked that this one simple intention ended up saving me a ton of time. I dug up about the same amount of space that I had every year, and normally it's been taking me in years past about 3 to 5 hours of digging. It took me 30 minutes this year. 30 minutes, that's it. Slowing down to be intentional about the timing and thinking about it first saved me hours. And it reminded me that in life too, timing really matters. When we pause and we take the time to think first about what will work best or what makes the most sense, we can often save a lot of time and frustration and really enjoy the process. So a mini takeaway is that slowing down isn't just procrastination, it's sometimes wisdom in disguise. So the second lesson was that you've got to protect your harvest. When it was time for me to go and find the bulbs that I had so carefully dug up and dried out and saved in the garage last spring, I found my next lesson from Mother Nature. I found my tray of bulbs and was really confused because over half of them were missing. I didn't know where they'd fallen on the floor, but then looking around on the floor, I saw some half-eaten ones, which gave me the answer. They had become a gourmet meal for the mice. So this lesson was glaringly obvious. If you don't take care of what you have worked for, you risk losing it. And it's not just about flowers, it's about our energy, our peace, our health, our progress. Slow living, it's not just about moving at a pace that's more comfortable and healthy for you. It's also about being intentional with what you've cultivated in the process. The next lesson is to work smarter, not faster. Every year I've done this project about the same way. I dig a big long trench, putting the soil off to the side wherever it will fit in. And in this case, for me, it's in between the roses. And this invariably meant that I'd end up with a number of thorn jabs in the process. And plus it was just kind of messy and haphazard. So this year, I first thought to myself, what will make this process the most efficient and easy way of doing things? And taking the time to think first gave me an idea. I decided to try laying out some old plastic to put the dirt on instead. This way, it should be much easier to get it back in the trench. And I won't be trying to sift through the dirt on the grass or in the thorns in the process. As you can see, it's working rather well. I was also reminded that pauses during work are really smart. As I mentioned earlier, last year, I pushed through this project in one long go. I was exhausted that night and on into the next day. This time, I did it differently. I was really tempted to go ahead and run to the store and replenish the bulbs that had been eaten since it had only taken me a half hour to dig. But it was approaching dinner time, and I decided it would probably be nicer to take a slower pace, finish the job the next day. This was a smart move. I preserved my energy and I enjoyed a leisurely dinner, a calm evening, and I think I enjoyed the whole process of getting the bulbs in the ground so much more. That's something it seems like we forget about so easily. Life isn't meant to be a constant push. The pauses are really needed as a balance for your nervous system, and honoring that makes a world of difference in your experience. This year's bulb planting came with a real quiet satisfaction for me. I felt good on the inside, and it was more than knowing the beauty that will come from my work in the spring. It was also the realization of how far I've come with this process of slowing down, and a clear acknowledgement of how helpful it's been in a multitude of ways. These 4 lessons: timing, protection, working smarter, and pausing. It's not just about gardening, it's about life. Mother Nature reminded me this weekend that everything worth growing grows slowly in its own perfect season. So if you've been rushing, maybe this is your sign to slow down, to listen, and to trust your timing too. If this message resonates with you, you might enjoy my other videos on slow living and intentional living. And if you're planting something new in your garden or in your life, I hope that you give it the space and the time that it needs to bloom.